Greetings to my beautiful audience. This is your girl Sira right here. And of course, you know it's Generation Next, and in particular, one-on-one exclusive. It is a fortnight of a Saturday when we come over here and continue the inspiration, the motivation. Of course, Generation Next, for the benefit of those of you who are joining us for the first time, Generation Next is a youth movement platform geared towards inspiring, motivating, and directing young people's participation towards responsibilities in the developing society. We are working to raise awareness on issues and challenges the youth are faced with in order to effect a positive change. Of course, that's why every fortnight of a Saturday, we always hear. But when we come, we don't come alone. We make sure that we bring in young people that we saw, that we see, if you like, forging. Young people that despite the problems, despite the challenges, because remember, life comes with its challenges. So therefore, we shall fetch those young people who, despite that challenge, are still forging. Of course, it is against that background, we're always here, and we will continue the inspiration, we will continue the movement. Yes, today, of course, I have another beautiful young mind doing remarkably well in the Gambia. Of course, not only within the borders of the Gambia, but internationally. And I shall give a brief bio of who she is before I shall let her say hello, hi to you, my beautiful audience. Her name is Miss Alima Kambi. Kambi is originally from Kiang, Karantaba. She is a civil engineer by profession. Miss Alima is the CEO of Infinite Earth and Construction Company. She started her engineering studies at Inside Training Center in the Gambia and then proceed to Tambot State Technical University in Moscow for her bachelor's degree in civil engineering. Her company designs and builds your dream homes and others at a very flexible payment time. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Alima Kambi.
Thank you. Thank you. I am as well happy to be here to share my story and also inspire the other youth also to step in so that we can make it happen.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, definitely make it happen, and we shall make it happen. So, Madam Alima, the program, it's a one-on-one exclusive. The reason we created this program, of course, you've heard me say that, is to make sure that we motivate young people within the remotest part of this country, but not only limited within Gambia, but of course, outside of Gambia. Because oftentimes, like I said, life comes with its challenges.
Exactly.
And oftentimes, if we do not have the proper guidance, it's always a problem for us.
That's
now, we are proud so far of what we've seen you achieve, and that is really remarkable. I'm sure there is room for improvement, and you will definitely get there. We always say the sky is the beginning and not the limit. But what we do is we try to find out from your humble beginnings how everything started. Now, we would be very happy if you take us through your journey. Take us from when you were at kindergarten. That is, if you remember.
Right. Well, actually, my name is Alima Kambi. I am originally from Kiang, as she said. And I'm actually happy once again to be here to share my story. Probably, maybe someone will have the same story and will be relaxing. But with this story that I'm about to share with you guys, I'm sure it will also motivate some other people.
Right.
Yeah, actually, I did my kindergarten, as you said. Yeah. We lived at Bakote Housing Estate. That is where I was raised by my uncle and my aunt. Okay. So that's where I did my kindergarten. And from there, I went to Bakote Proper Lower Basic School. Okay. From there, I went to Bakote Upper and then proceed to Kotu Senior Secondary School, where I...
that's my former school. Okay.
Yeah. Where I graduated, and actually I was doing arts. So you can see arts and what I am today differs. But I was this type of person that, if you know, during school, lecturers or your teachers will be like, oh, what do you want to become when you grow up?
Yeah.
And I was always like, I want to become an architect. And they will be like, oh, you want to eat money? I said, of course, everybody wants to eat money.
Obviously.
But yeah, I was so much into drawings. I got inspired by so many architectures outside and within the Gambia. Yeah. So architecture was something that I was so much into since at a very young age. So I went to Kota Senior and Mr. Sanya, which I'm sure everybody knows. He wanted to actually take me to the science department, but I was a bit scared of science because of physics and chemistry. These two used to give me a headache, but that was one of the reasons why I was like, nah, I want to go to arts. So yeah, but after graduating from Koto, when you don't have a very strong financial background, you tend to be like, oh, what am I going to do next? And you tend to start thinking about everything possible. I was this kind of person that loved education. I love going to school and I love to, explore myself so I can get there because I was looking ahead and trying to see people who are there and I use them as a motivation. So schooling was something, and I still love actually. Yeah, because I love to learn. So yeah, and when I graduated, I also didn't sit because my parents couldn't, afford to send me to, institution or university so that I can, do something to better myself. And like we said, when you fail in life, doesn't mean that that's the end of your life. I could remember in my grade 12, I didn't do well in school. Yeah, I didn't do well, so I couldn't get entrance to the university. What I did was I went to teach as an unqualified teacher at one private school called CNO. I'm sure my students, when they hear me, they will know. Yeah, so I was there for like one academic year and one term as a teacher. So I was paying for myself to do the access program. So yeah, so I can receive math and English because I did fail it in grade 12. So I wanted to like push it to go to the university. Seeing my colleagues entering, that was so heartbreaking for me. So I pushed it. And fortunately, I was able to cross English, but math was still the same problem. But still, I didn't give up. And I was still going teaching at the same time, doing the course. So I said to myself, okay, what I wanted to do, if I didn't get that, probably there's still another second option. And the second option was to do economics and marketing. But it was just something that I was like the second option. So what later happened was when I was seeing that, okay, what if I get the admission to the university, how am I going to pay my school fee? This was something that was also bothering me. So that was how I met my first husband, and I got married at a very early age. Because he was like, okay, if you get married to me, I'm going to pay your school fee and the like. So I said, being a young age and my focus was just schooling. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a jackpot. I got someone that was going to pay my school fee.
Yeah. How old were you then?
I was like 21. So I got married and we were discussing, and he was like, what do you want to study? And I was like, ever since I always wanted to study architect. But at the UTG, they are not offering the course, unfortunately. So he was like, but I think there are some institutions here, private institutions, that do offer this course. Maybe you can go and ask. So I had a friend, he was a schoolmate who was there, and I communicated with him. He told me, yeah, it's true. That was how I got enrolled at Inside Training Center. And that was when I did study my architectural course for 3 years. And in that process, that was when I got my son. So, yeah. So I was carrying him going to school.
Really?
Yeah, I was sitting with him in the same class.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So still, that didn't stop me from still going to school. I had him, I was heavily pregnant and I was going to school, and I was doing well. Like I was the second best student in class.
That's very good.
With all that, struggle,
Right.
how pregnancy life, how difficult it is, but I was still pushing it.
Right.
So when I got my baby, he was just a few months old when we restarted again, and I was still going with him. I do carry him, go to the class, and sit with him. And he was a good boy. He didn't disturb. Yeah, he didn't actually disturb in class. So he was actually named as Baby Inside.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Exactly. So yeah, and I was he was like 1 year, some few months. I graduated with advanced diploma as the second best student in class.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, so Alhamdulillah, and from there I joined Gumworks as an that's where I did my intern.
Okay.
So as an architect.
Okay.
But Gumworks was a place that changed my whole direction in the construction industry.
Okay.
Because my target was just to be an architect, just to draw. So when I went to Gumworks, it's a place where, you know, they are the one that implement the government projects.
Okay.
Yeah, so they do drawing, they do costing and estimation, basically to calculate the materials of the building, how much the building will cost and everything. Okay. And also they do supervise construction work. Okay. So when I was there, I was taken into these 3 sections, and basically you have to do all. So you can imagine just studying architect, and you have to go and face another phase of construction industry, and that's the calculation, and also the site supervision, you know, even though I wasn't ready for that. Yeah. But like I said, I love taking challenges.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and when I was there, there were 2 people that wherever I go and people asked me about my career, they were these 2 guys that, you know, I always thank every time. Okay. And they are called Yusuf Fakan and Funding Fofana. These 2 men.
Yusuf and Funding.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Yusuf and Funding.
Yeah.
Thank you.
These 2 men mold me as to where I am today. They actually contributed a lot, because they were like telling me I was this one strong-headed student that they have to train. Yeah. Because they were like, you want to crack our brains and just remove everything that we have inside and transfer it. Yeah. They make me love the construction industry. They also make me see things like it's not only about the drawing. There is something before the drawing. Right. So I went with them for 5 whole years, step by step. Okay. And I was very patient to learn. You know, patience is something that when you have, you achieve a lot.
Right.
5 years was not just 5 months or 5 weeks.
Obviously.
This whole 5 years that I was with Gumworks, they trained me a lot, and I was eager to learn. When I'm doing something and I don't understand it, I force them. Like, I go after them wherever they are, even if they are on their break. I just go with my pen. I was like, how do you get this? How do you calculate it? At the later part, Yusuf was like, SubhanAllah, I've never had this kind of student before. Right. But yeah, so they taught me, and Gumworks actually later gave me a contract to supervise 13 sites. Wow. Yeah, at the same time. It was called the SLIP project. Okay. They were doing, helping, what do you call the VDC, so that to do some construction works and the like. So I supervised the road construction. I supervised drainage system. Wow. I supervised multi-purpose centers in Banjul, and within the Greater Banjul area here. So it was also another experience in life, because being a woman was a very, very challenging one. And being a woman and young at that time. So you can see, you go to the site.
And with a baby at that time.
Yes. And I even forgot, during that time, it was when I had my second baby girl. Yeah, I stayed with her for 6 months at home. Yeah. So I can, you know, breastfeed her well and like. But after 6 months, I went back to the field. So leaving a young baby behind, going to the field. I used to be there until late hours and had to come back. So it was also challenging, because you know that you have a baby that you left behind. You know, being a mother, she will not get used to you. She will get used to the people around you that you leave her with. But this is something that you have to do for the betterment of yourself and the kids, you know. So every mother will want their kids to look up to them, to be like, okay, even if they want to realize, no, I want to be where my mom is, you know. Always try to be a role model to your kids. Do not let your kids to look up to, you know, other people for something that you know as a mother you can give to them. Right. So these are the things that I was having at the back of my mind, and it was pushing me, despite the fact that, it was difficult leaving a baby behind. But this was something that I've got to do.
Right.
So I was going and I was supervising the sites, facing challenges at the site also.
Yeah.
You go and find elderly people doing the construction work.
Yeah.
They have the mindset of the back days, before they don't sit in the class and study construction. They just learn it and practically and then go along with it.
Okay.
Experience is very important also.
Yeah.
But when a young person comes to be the leader in them, some of them, they find it difficult to accept.
Of course.
They will be like, who is she? Something that I've been doing for like 10, 20 years.
Exactly.
Then someone come and just tell me, no, do it this way. No, don't do it this way. But I was going with them with a strategy. The first meeting that I do usually have with them was very important for me.
Yeah.
I showed to them that I'm also learning. In this case, we want win-win. Like you help me and then I help you.
Right.
I'm not here to show you that I'm professional.
Right.
And I'm not here to show you that I am educated.
Right.
I am still learning in the process.
Right.
So if I'm doing something wrong, please bring it to my notice.
Good.
This is how I start with them on my own weakness.
Yeah.
So that way also, if I see you doing something probably that is not correct, I can also, come and tell you, oh, why don't we do it this way? Because we want the best results so that tomorrow we can, have something bigger than this.
Yeah.
At least we don't want failure. At the end of the day, you will lose and I will lose. That's not why we are here.
Right.
So when I do it, I make sure I humble myself to their level.
Good.
And we work the work goes flexibly like everybody. And we will be chatting, cracking jokes here and there.
Right.
And it's perfect. If you see me, chatting with them.
Yeah.
And some of them, I can even be my grandfather at that time, being the messiness in the life. Mm-hmm. So this was how I was going with them so as to make sure that, being the female in a main dominant area was a big challenge at that point of time. That was like almost 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a big challenge because you hardly see women or ladies venturing into this industry. Because I remember my mom was like, she is always doing what guys do. She never does what ladies do. She was like, I barely have female friends, I was like, because I am this type of person that is scared of problems. And I don't like to gossip, and, girls, wherever they are problems. I couldn't remember when somebody called me and tell me that, oh, she said this. No, oh, you heard me fighting somewhere. Because I'm always scared. Right. So boys are so easy to go with. They are troubleless, So I used to be friends with them. And my mom never liked this. She was like, behave like a lady. You never behave like a girl. I was like, well, when girls are troubles, why would I go and join them? I don't want trouble. So I guess when she heard that I am an architect and I'm doing construction work for her, she thought that I was the one that used to go and mold the blocks and do this. And she was like, you see, this is why I thought she ended up being in the main industry. Like you see ladies working at the bank, you see them being a secretary. I was like, Mom, things are different now. Basically, even if it has to start with me, I just want to be a role model. I just want to be an example that the others can look up to and also have that, at the back of their mind. Oh, she did it. We can also do it.
Yes.
I was like, this is why I'm doing this. And it's a passion that I have. And when you have a passion on something, you tend to put in your everything, your 100%, because you choose it yourself. Nobody tell you that go and study this, but you wanted it. You want to do this. So whatever challenge you find there, you are always ready for it. So this was something that I think also really, really did help me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow, that's I don't want to cry. If you look at me closely, you can see that.
Yeah.
But again, I am curious to know what actually may have informed your decision to the path you've chosen. Because, of course, looking at from your family settings, your mom, of course, saying that you always like to challenge, do what men, of course, associate with men. So was there anyone that you watch or you listen to or you see who was engaged within or who was within this domain that actually pushed you into or motivated you into wanting to become a civil engineer? Or was it something that just came from? It's like there's an innate talent, as others would say.
Exactly. In my family, there was no one, actually. And within my surrounding, there was also no one. Like I said, this was something that was with me since when I was in junior school. I always wanted to do something that has to do with drawings. So right now, in the family, yes, people, because of me, alhamdulillah, people are getting into it. But in my family, I was the first person. And within my circle also, I was the first person to get into it. And there is something that I always have with me that make me still push on, and that is that there are a lot of young girls that are looking up to me. I do receive text messages, I do receive calls, just people telling me that do not stop. There is this guy that is in UNICEF, and his text nearly made me cry. I never knew that I was impacting a lot of girls. He told me that I'm a lecturer. You might not know me, but I'm one of your followers. I use you as an example. And my girls, they each and every day, they ask me, when are we going to her office to meet her? We will want to meet her personally. So these are the kind of things, that even if I want to relax, I'm like, no. Like, you are being put in a position where, relaxing or giving up is not
an option.
You just have to hang on there. If you don't push higher, just hang on there. Because there are some people that are, because of you, they are climbing the same ladder that you did climb before until you reached this stage. My mom, now she's enjoying, actually.
Obviously.
She was like, because of your stubbornness, you have proven to all that, you can do it.
Fantastic.
With this word that they say, what man can do, what woman can do. Okay, first of all, in that aspect, I know a lot of feminists will attack me.
You're safe. You're safe.
But there is something that I always, advises my younger sisters, myself, and, close ones in their lives. I'm someone that is very, very, very key to the religion. Okay, so I always, when we have this discussion, woman can do, women can also do, I tend to say no to this, because the reason why I always do that, some of them will take me as an example. See, you are in men dominant area, you got to a place where even some men, I was like, no, because everything starts from the religion, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that men lead and women follow. So I said to them, if I tell you in this industry that I am in, yes, I'm the head, yes, I'm the one that bring all the projects and the like. But I said to them that the practical work, if men don't do it, I cannot be where I am today. Because even if I go to the field, it is men that do the mixing, it is men that does it, because I don't have the power. Like, Allah did not give women that power that they can lift heavy things. Men can do that. I said to them that it's not like I just want to bring everything in, like in the religion. And I'm like, you can never go anywhere where women lead prayers. It never happens. Even in family, it's men that Allah gave men to lead. This is a position that Allah gave men to. So today, if you come and tell me what man can do, woman can do
better.
And I'm like, can do better. Exactly. I'm like, no. I said no to that. Equity, yes. Gender equity, that's there. That's right. But when you tell me what man can do, I always say no to this, because we are never the same.
Obviously. That's so true. And I'm sure even those that would say this, would know that, of course, we can never be equal. We can never be equal in that perspective. But perhaps they may have their reasons as to why they come up with it. But now I would want you to specify to us what your role is.
Basically in the company.
Okay, we can talk about your company. Let's go ahead. Why the need to come up with your company to begin with, and talk us through what your role is as well?
Okay, so I am like I was like I said when I was at Gamworks, and they gave me the project, and I did supervise. After when I was done supervising that place, I was still going.
Right.
It was just an 8 months contract. So even after the completion of the contract, I was still going without salary, without having nothing. But because what I saw there was the knowledge, I was after the knowledge. Let me just get it, because this knowledge, when I have it, it can take me to a place where the money will not take me. So after 5 years being at Gamworks, I was supervising, I was quantifying the building, and I was drawing. So even one of the guys that taught me, Mr. Ken, we got to an extent where he says, even if you make a calculation and I'm sleeping, somebody wakes me and tell me that this Halima who does this calculation, I was like, it's good to go. It's like, because he said to me, you are the only student I have that walk exactly like me.
Wow.
It's like, wherever you are in the world, I will always recommend you.
Right.
So because I was following him, like, he was so difficult to get, but I was really, really persistent into getting the knowledge.
Right.
So after there, that motivated me to travel out, because that was the reason why I wanted to study civil engineering. So I got a friend that is, and currently we are working together.
Yeah.
He was in Russia, and I was speaking to him regarding, because I was looking at every angle to study civil engineering, and he was like, why not you come here?
Right.
And I said, okay. So he helped me with the admission and everything, and I went. When I went, I did the preparatory program. That's the language course, the Russian language, actually.
So you speak Russian?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I do. You must, because we use the language as the medium language. We study using Russian language.
Right.
So at first, I got a 1-year scholarship from Guy Construction. He paid my first tuition fee. I went and I did the preparatory. So the following year was a bit tough, and I was facing problems with my marriage also. So I had to come back. And that was in 2017, 2018. I came back to Gambia. So it didn't last, unfortunately, but Allah knows best. So I still say that I'm going to go back. I don't want to stop here. This should not be something that will hold me back. I left my kids. My daughter was just 3 years old.
Aww.
Alhamdulillah, I was able to get a scholarship to go back, and I went back, studied civil engineering.
Right.
It was really, really tough in Russia. The language is a problem. The weather was something that you really have to deal with. So, but when I was in Russia, even my lecturers will be like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Because basically I almost know everything. Not everything, but majority of what they are teaching us, I already knew it. And they were like, what are you doing here? I was like, I am here to learn. And they are like, no, because basically, you know what we are teaching you. So what I was like, I just want to get the certificate and go back home. And I was like, okay, then that's fine. So I got along well with my lecturers. They were so impressed with, and they do ask questions. In Africa, do they allow their girls? I was like, why then? I'm an African. Why am I here? Why am I here if they don't allow girls? I was like, well, most of the girls, when they come here, they study other, area.
Yeah.
But you come and start studying civil engineering, and it was true. In the whole group, I was the only female African. And so I understand why they asked that question. Yeah. So, well, I told them that the world is changing now, and we are also changing. We are getting there.
Obviously.
But they were really, really impressed. So after I decided to come back home, and people were like, are you not going to go for the master's? I'm like, no. Yeah. I want to go back home and work because there are a lot of things that, I need to do back in my country. And I believe I can create a lot of opportunities for others to, to be here where I am.
Right.
So that was how I came back. And when I came back, I was working with one estate company.
Yeah.
Still, I feel like I still need to do more. This is not my area. So I resigned from that company. I was working there as a general manager. I resigned from there. And then I got a project. That's the hospital. Currently, we start constructing it at Sankandi. I got that hospital to design, at first just to design it. And that was one of the main major project I have since I started my career. So I designed it, and the client was very impressed, though we went back and forth doing some changes there, which is normal actually in the designing aspect. So we came to conclusion, and he was like, "You construct it." And I started smiling. I was like, "Hold on, hold on. I don't even have a group. I don't have a company. For now, I'm just a freelancer." It's like, well, I want to push you.
Wow.
Like, you design it, you will construct it. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you will construct it. So there was something also, I said, I want to, even if I'm going to open my company, it's just going to be painting. Because I was like, in Gambia, the construction industry is a headache. So, but the reason why I said this, but now my concept in that changed. Because the feedback that I was getting from people that have their company, they will be like, "Oh, Gambia, you face a lot of all different kinds of clients. You know, some of them, they don't pay you," and they're like. So I was over there in Russia, and I was hearing all of this. I was like, then when I go, I'm just going to be concentrated on painting, and that's it, and designing. So when he forced me and told me that, "I don't know how you do it, but you're going to construct it," and I said, "Okay, let me give it a try." So that was how I set up this business. And actually, the hospital didn't become my first project. It became my third project.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, it became my third project. And the guy that actually helped me with the admission in Russia is working with me right now. He's working with me. He's like, because I was the one who was teaching him how to design. I taught him how to draw, but he is still not 100% there together. And he is the architecture in the company, even though I am the one that conclude everything, because he has problem when it comes to, finishing and the like. So I still am helping him, but he's still getting there. He's getting there.
Fantastic. That's really beautiful. Your story is just really fantastic.
Thank
and
you.
It has shown the zeal, it has shown the belief you have for yourself. Because the problem is oftentimes when we are told that this would not work, we tend to divert. But you, knowing what you wanted, you still went despite, which is really beautiful. Another thing I learned from what you shared is to say, when you help someone today, the very person you help may be your root tomorrow. So that's really important. But another thing that you also mentioned, that is when you graduated, your result wasn't that good, but that did not stop you. Why do you think you needed the push to go and get to the university? Why didn't I ask? Because perhaps the way the system is set in this country, it's really difficult, because we've got so many youth who perhaps for some reason or the other were not able to make it, right? Perhaps someone who is listening might say, well, of course she went to the university, she was able to get this thanks to education. But do you think that the only way to achieve what you've achieved is through education? Education alone can give you that?
Not education alone. Determination and vision can also be something that can get you to where you do not expect to find yourself. Because, like I said, where I could have been like relaxed when I failed, because I called it failed in grade 12, because math and English, if you don't pass it, that means that you are not going anywhere. So, but failing, like I said, when you fail doesn't mean that that's the end. You need to get up. That should even, make you stronger and put yourself into a position where you say that I'm going to make it. The first thing, you need to believe in yourself. Failing doesn't mean that's the end of your life. It's something that makes you learn more and want to yearn for more. When it was very tough with me when I got my results in grade 12 and see that I failed math and English. And if I tell you something, it's very funny.
Too.
Yeah. I was very good at math.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I was very good at math, and I'm still.
Right.
But the thing was that peer influence can also be something that affects you a lot.
Okay.
I usually have B plus or A in math until my grade 11. So when I get to grade 12, peer influence, like when the math teacher come, we would just leave the class. And I started following footsteps. That was how my math was bad. So I just hated it.
Right.
So with the English, yeah, that I was doing my best, but still couldn't make it. But when I failed, I said to myself, no, that's not the end. This is not where I want to stop. Like I said to you earlier, I was in love with education. I was in love with schooling. I think this was something that was also pushing me into saying that this is not the end. You still can make it.
Right.
Failing doesn't mean that's the end.
Right.
So I know a lot of people at my age when they fail, especially being a girl.
Right.
And your mom will be like, go back, go to the kitchen. That's it. That's the end for you. But no, I didn't stop there. I said since we have this private WAS exam, I can still make it. But that was why I said it. But first, you need to work and the money, and then, I worked. I went, like I said, I was teaching as an unqualified teacher.
Right.
And I paid for my access program to repeat maths and English.
Right.
Which I did, but still maths, I didn't trust it. But Russia is a country that, they give opportunity to people. So though I got admission in Russia without math, but when I went to Russia, the education system, it's really, really advanced to an extent that the areas that you are not good at, you will surely be good at.
Wow.
So I got the admission, even though I failed math. They gave me the opportunity, and with so many students also. So when I got there, like I said, physics and chemistry were something that I wasn't good at.
Yeah.
But if you are doing civil engineering, basically you have to do this too.
Right.
So I never did physics and chemistry. When I got to Russia, imagine, in a language that you have never heard of. But they teach you in a way that you will pass. Because when you fail, they don't give you your results. You have to repeat. Even if you repeat 100 times, you will have to repeat until you are good the way they want you to. So they give opportunity to people that fail in certain areas. That was what happened with me with math.
Yeah.
And they were like, when we look at your transcript, you did well at math until this stage. So which means you are not bad at math. Yeah. You just need a little push and then you will be there. And that's what happened. My first year, I got B plus in Russia in my first year. So I was like, okay, I'm back to my math thing again. And alhamdulillah, I was able to cross both math, chemistry, and physics.
Congratulations. So because of time, I would have loved for us to push. I'm really enjoying this. And I'm sure my audience are also enjoying this discussion. Nick, maybe you can tell us, take us through, how is the Gambia now, looking at what you're doing? Is it friendly? Is it helping you to move? Are the people within helping you to move? Tell us. And if you can mention one or two problems and, what you would want the help you may need as well, you can go ahead and share all those as well.
Yeah, the construction industry in Gambia is actually advancing. When I first came in, my first client, the problem he had before was that most of our clients actually are based in the West.
Okay.
So they tend to share their problems, and their problems are like when they send money for them to do a construction work for them, the people used to run away with their money, or sometimes what they ask you to build, they don't build that. So there was trust problem in the industry. So when I came in, he was like, you're a female, and I believe that you will be different. So this is why he gave me his first project, and we are almost at the finishing point right now. So this is one of the problems that we are facing in the industry. That is like people now, they are scared to, give their money to random people that they don't know.
Yeah.
So this is one of the problem. The other problem is the government is not helping in terms of companies like us, because major projects that the government, where it can lift young people who are actually in the industry, they tend to give those projects outside, the companies that are outside, because even if you see the current road construction is not done by Gambians.
Of course.
It's not done by Gambians. And other major projects are also not done by Gambians. And these are things that, we went outside to study, to come back and make change. But if the government is not helping, it is going to be very difficult for us to, because this hospital project that my company is constructing right now, people do ask me, is it the government? No. And I'm like, it's an individual who, owns the projects, not a government project. So basically, if they can help us, at least believe in us, because we believe in ourselves. This is why we went and registered a company, decided to venture in the industry. So if they give us that opportunity, we will prove to them that, yes, what those people that you bring from the outside can do, we too can do it. So the next other challenges that I personally face is the discrimination a little bit. Yeah, because they'll be like, oh, she's a female. Why should we, give her the opportunity? Because there was one project that we were trying to strive, but because when I show up there and it's like, are you the head of the company? I'm like, and I was like, yeah, I am. So I got all the means, I got all the documents, and I got the experience, but because I was a female, I lost the project.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, it's never the end. I will prove to you that despite the fact that I'm female, but I still can do this work. So these are the things that basically we are facing. And since our company is just new, we just started in February. But what I can say is that, Alhamdulillah, because basically we are currently with almost 5 projects right now. And I said thanks to our client, because they, especially the ones outside, they believe, and they believe that being a female shouldn't stop you, from getting where you want to get, especially in this industry.
Yeah.
So some of them, most of them, because I am a female, they tend to, give me the projects, like, we want to see where she's going to, go with it. And
Fantastic.
inshallah, if you finish this, they were like, if you finish this project as the way it is, surely there are more to come. But yeah, the government, the only problem is, like, let the government help us, and we will surely prove to them that we can.
And
also,
how do you think they can help? How do you think the government can help?
if they can give us projects, like, because when you have massive projects that are multi-million projects, it boosts your CV. It makes help you, to achieve more of these projects, to an extent that even internationally. Because if at all this current road that is currently going on is given to a Gambian to construct, basically, if outsiders see it and, oh, he was the one or she was the one who constructed the road, which means basically they can do it. So if those people got the opportunity to leave their country and come and construct here, we could also have the same opportunity to go to their countries and also construct there. So if these are the things that we need from the government to help us, have trust in us and give us such kind of projects, we will deliver, inshallah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, we've all heard it, and I'm sure it's on the online, so anybody can watch it, including the government themselves. When we always say that the government cannot create jobs for everybody, that is so true. But again, if young people are doing what it takes, actually doing the extra miles to find job for themselves, I think it's important that we support them. We talk about the government. The government has to create that enabling environment for them to suffice, for the job to grow. So if they are seizing that, like she said, it becomes a problem. Remember, we believe that job cannot be created. The government cannot give us all job, but we would create it with your support equally. Thank you so much, Halima. I'm really, really impressed. You've inspired me.
Thank you.
Mohammed, I would love to have her again. I'm sure there will be part 2 because I'm sure there is a lot that she will have to share. And of course, your company as well. It's important that Gambia get to know more. I'm sure with the work you're doing, the great, I can see the greatness, the ambition, and things would grow, and everybody, the Gambia as a whole, will definitely begin to understand your company and know best of what you guys do. But Generation Next will also try to, of course, when this message is shared, people will get to know more. On that note, it's a pleasure to have you on the one-on-one exclusive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you, our beautiful audience, for always following us, for trusting us, of course. And until we come your way again from the entire Generation Next team, including our beautiful cameraman and technician. Of course, he does everything, Mohammed. It's a bye from us, and until we come your way again. Cheers.
Bye-bye.